Hey guys, it's me Chandragan. Today I will do like Who Should You Pull edition for 3.5. It is between Dehya, Cyno, Ayaka, and Shenhe. So let's get started. So let's start first with the Dehya. So Dehya, basically if you already watched my preparation video and complain about her, basically nothing really that changed that much. So this one only like summarized from what I get from this video. And yeah, I will start first with the good one. So the good what yeah is that she's considered quite good at Ganyung Burning Melt, except it's a little bit worse than I expect. I thought the resistant interruption will be longer, turned out to be quite fast though. So you cannot stay too long to take the damage though. But overall, she still worked pretty good, and I think that's the best one even to make their work looks kinda good, to make like it's not kind of look so forceful or kind of just like passable, but this one kind of looks Dia can do something though. So that's the only thing that Dia good, which is on Ganyu Burning Melt team. So the one that you can kind of put like Ganyu, Nahida, and Bennett with Dia, that should be a good team for another alternative for Ganyu team. And the second is that she's functioning in Monopyro team. I didn't say it's great. I think D looks still better in Monopyro, but it's at least it's functional. You can pass like every abyss and every single situation though that you need Monopyro. Now we talk the bad, but yes, the first she has a slow pyro application. That means it's already slower from Xiangling and Toma itself though. And if already you know that the case, she become the worst version of Toma in Bargain, and she has make the worst version of Xiangli in terms of Vaporize and Melt though. So with that, because all of them is just very slow compared to Xiangling and Toma, and because of that it's already considered bad though, except from Ganyu Melt that she can make good. Other than that, her application, because it's too slow, it's considered bad. And second, Shielder and Healer are better than her tank mechanics, because in the end she still need heal, because she still receive damage and she only heal herself, and other team you still need heal. So if you think again why you even need to put Dia then if you still need Shielder and Healer, that means like you kind of waste a little bit slow, right? So yeah, it's a little bit sad in there. And the third, she has a low damage in term to become carry, so because of that it's pretty hard for you kinda if you wish to improve your team using just Dia though, because basically whatever that she over as a carry is worst version of any pyro carry or main DPS though, so it's pretty much not a good thing. And the last one, not so really annoying, but she cannot even trigger with Shincho or Yelan, even though she is not really good, but if she can trigger Shincho with Yelan, I think it will make a lot more better. Now we move to the reason for you to pull Dia. The first, if you like the character and gameplay, and this is the main factor that for you to pull though, because most of the selling value for her almost nothing besides the character and the gameplay itself. So if you don't like this, the character or gameplay, I suggest to not pull. And the second, if you need a good unit for your Ganyu, then fine, because she can become a good like substitute. If you don't want to use Zhongli, then you can use Dia itself. In fact, that Dia can provide more pyro application. So if you kinda maybe don't have Zhongli or want to make better in terms of pyro application for your Ganyu, then you can pull for Dia. Now we move to the reason for you to skip Dia is that first, if you want to improve your team or finish Spiral Abyss, or you want to make even like Spiral Abyss clearance faster, then stay away from Dia, because she's basically will make it probably worse than what you have right now, because in her state right now is actually pretty bad though. So if you want to improve your team, stay away from Dia. And second, if you want a meta character, I would to say she's so far away from meta though. So if you want to think about meta, don't think about Dia anymore. And the third one, if you need a solid sub DPS or hyper carry, I suggest to not pull for her, because I already say slow pyro applicator, very low damage, not even a good tank. She's basically not really good in most of the roles beside Ganyu Melt Burning though. So because of that, don't pull if you want a solid sub DPS or hyper carry. Now we move to the second character, which is Cyno. So if you kinda want to know the details more, should you pull Cyno or not, better to check out in my another video, because that one I discuss into more details. But this one is only like kinda short version or summary though. So the first one to go about Cyno is that first, he's pretty solid main DPS, because first maybe when he released, people kinda more focused in the aggravate and turned out to be not so great actually. And time to time we realized that yeah, actually Hyper Bloom is actually the best one for Cyno, or Quick Bloom, and because of that, it's turned out to be he's not that bad at all. It's just he's pretty solid. Yeah, he's maybe not as strong as kinda Alhaitham or Hutao Ayaka case, but he's still pretty solid, and like above average clear time is already, if you kinda into Abyss, it's already above average, so you will not have any trouble at all though. And then second is that this better than before thanks to Nahida. So if you kinda have Nahida, this is actually a bless though for Cyno, because it's make it a lot more better. I already show like in my full details that Nahida clear a lot way faster with Cyno compared to just using a Tendo Traveler with Cyno. So because of that, actually Cyno become better, and also Yao Yao become a good addition for Cyno itself. So it has more like wider team flexibility, so which is that's good. And third one is he's a complex gameplay, so kind of people that want to play like a character that do a lot of work hands, then he's one of type of character that you need to be active to keep using. You have to click, and you used to use the skill on the right time. So yeah, if you like complex gameplay, this is a good thing. Now when we talked about the bad side of Cyno, is that first he's replaceable. This is actually all the downside being main DPS, so including Hutao and Ayaka, because basically if you want to be like kind of efficient, let's say in Spiral Beast, the most of the case you only need 4 of main DPS, because 2 maybe is for your main team for 2 main DPS, and another 2 is for your backup main DPS, just in case you cannot clear your another 2 main DPS. So yeah, after that, if you have more than that, usually you will end up benching. In my case, sometimes I bench Yula, Hutao, Yoimiya, and so on, something like that though. So it will end up become a waste. And also like the frequency of main DPS to be released is actually very frequent though, because if you count from 1.0 until Alhaitham, like 60% of them is main DPS, so you should not worry if you cannot get any good main DPS. And I were to say even the not so great main DPS is still working great as long you have a very good team though. This is just because the standard of Genshin Impact is not really high, like let's say in Spiral Abyss. So even a character like Cyno Wanderer that not as really that strong, but it's already past enough from the average of Spiral Abyss itself though. So yeah, because of that, we actually have a lot of option among all the main DPS that we can just choose, and we only need to choose 4. So yeah, it makes it very replaceable. If you want to make your Cyno looks kind of amazing and you want to stay on field with the burst longer, then he actually quite dependent with Nahida. It is just because Nahida's skill is actually long that can extend his burst, compared if you use like Tendo Traveler is way shorter for your burst and you have to change your character though. So because of that, then you quite need Nahida in order to make him more to be efficient. And also the time clearance, it's quite give you quite a big gap between Nahida and Tendo MC, so that's why he's a little bit dependent with Nahida. Now we move to the reason for you to pull Cyno is that first, if you like the complex gameplay, which is like more to the active gameplay where you need a lot of hand workout basically, so maybe endgame player may like it, just because like Cyno is one of the character that you need to have like learning curve, like so it's a little bit challenging, like compared to kind of Hutao just charge attack though. This one have like you need to do the right timing and something like that. So maybe end game player that wants a little bit challenge to make it more fun the gameplay, then yeah, this is maybe the character for you. And then second is that if you need a team to pair with Nahida, then Cyno is one of the best option though, just because like Nahida with Cyno can pair very good, except the multi-wave anyway, and yeah, it will suffer. But other than that, actually it's a very good pair with Nahida if you like it. And third one, if you really love fans of Dendro reaction, especially Quick Bloom or Hyper Bloom, then I recommend for Cyno, because Cyno in Hyper Bloom, Quick Bloom, then is pretty good in there. So if you kind of fan of those reaction, feel free to pull. Now we move to the reason for you to skip Cyno is that first, if you're looking for a meta character, then I suggest for you to skip Cyno, because just like in my standard, his damage dealing is not even mid to the meta standard damage, and in terms of value and contribution is not that so high also. Because of that, he's not meta character. And second, if you're a new player or beginner that still want to improve your team, I don't suggest for you to pull Cyno. It is just because his kit is a little bit complex, you need a lot of hand workout, and you need to understand a lot of learning curve that I think as a new player just join this game, it's a little bit kind of maybe annoying or troublesome. Because if you use the character like Hutao, it's more beginner friendly, just because it's very straightforward, easy to understand. And also like Cyno duration of burst is pretty long, so you might need like a little bit specific unit, and if you are kind of early player, you might not have a lot of units, so I don't really suggest you to pull with Cyno, because he's need a little bit specific setup though in order to work very great. Yeah, I will not say it's impossible, but it's not really that pleasant though for a new player or beginner to pull for Cyno. And the third, if you have more than 4 DPS, as I already stated, because main DPS very replaceable, then you don't need though if you already have more than that. And the last reason is that if you don't have Nahida, I think that's give you more reason for you to not pull Cyno. It doesn't mean that if you pair with Dendro Traveler, he's become bad. He's still able to clear Spiral of his 36 star with Dendro Traveler. It's just like the value, it feels very different. The time clearance especially, it makes very different. That feel like if you pair with Dendro Traveler, the value of Cyno is just kind of go down by a lot though. So if you don't have Nahida, I don't think you should bother to pull Cyno though. Now we move to the third character, which is Hoyo's first favorite character, the Eternal Banner, Ayaka. The good about Ayaka is that first, he's one of the best main DPS basically. Like in terms of like personal damage, he's very crazy. The burst itself, I don't know. It feels like only deal 10k, but it's actually a lot of threat that in the end is just like more than 100k, something like it still remain as a one of the best main DPS. And second, his kit is very complete. It's not complex but complete means you utilize almost everything. You just realize on Ayaka you have to utilize sprint, you have to utilize normal attack, charge attack, skill, burst, basically nothing that you really waste in there. Those kind of character kit I really want Hoyo first to make more, because it feels like when I pull this character I didn't waste anything. I used everything. It's very different that if I use Yae or I use Lana Yelan that I only use as a sub DPS, I will end up not using their normal attack, so it feels kind of waste, right? But it's like Ayaka, I feel like I use everything. It feel like it's worth for my money, something like that. And the third is that it's good with Shenhe. So if you have Shenhe, then you should consider to pair with Ayaka, so that's a good thing also. Now we will talk about the bad side about Ayaka. Is the first, she is replaceable. This is basically the downside being main DPS, so including like Cyno I talked before. It is just because we have a lot of option for main DPS and we don't actually need a lot of them, so we will end up waste some of them. So because of that, the urgency for you to pull this main DPS, it's not so much. Imagine just this one patch we already like have two main DPS that you can choose though. Next patch I think we will have like couple option also to choose like main DPS, so the urgency is not so much, a lot of option, and it become very replaceable because we don't even need them so much. And second is that her burst can be annoying. It is just because her burst is moving kind of slow, so the moment if the enemy is too agile, it can be missed. So imagine you kind of rush, it can be like annoying that you have to retry just because you miss rest. So yeah, it's not really a big deal, but it can be a small things that makes you annoyed with this character. And the last one, this is only Spiral Abyss, so if you don't care you can just skip it. But Lelian Spiral Abyss, for being a freeze team, is not really effective and they get a lot of disadvantage though. And we know Ayaka is really good in the freeze team, so basically it's give Ayaka its disadvantage. Why? It is just because a lot of enemy late in Spiral Abyss, they put a lot of enemy that cannot be freeze though. So basically this give a very huge disadvantage for Ayaka itself for not being able to freeze the enemy. So because of that, yeah, it's a little bit sad that the value of her, it's a little bit falling down just because like this enemy cannot be freeze. So it's not technically Ayaka's fault, but it's more like how Hoyo first put the enemy in Spiral Abyss. It's not really supporting Ayaka kit right now. It's similar case like Fenty. It's a little bit falling down just because Hoyo first decided to do that though. And now we move to the reason why you should pull Ayaka. First, if you like the character and gameplay, then pull for her though, because I know Ayaka is one of fan favorite characters, same case like Hu Tao, Yae, Ganyu case where people pull just because they really like the character itself. Yeah, then pull for her. And then second is that if you like meta character, then pull for Ayaka, because in my standard, Ayaka is still a meta, although I already talked that lately in Abyss, she's not really kinda get advantage in freeze, but at least in the Abyss, it's quite supporting her right now. But yeah, in overall actually, she's still meta character. And the third one is that if you need a very solid main DPS, then yeah, you can consider to pull Ayaka. And the fourth, if you like freeze team, then pull for her though, because he's doing very good job in the freeze team. And the reason for you to skip for Ayaka is that first, if you have more than 4 main DPS, then I suggest to skip for Ayaka, although she is very strong. But I will say again though, the importance for you to get more than 4 main DPS is basically not that much, because in the end some of them you will bench and you will feel so waste. And then second is that if you don't like the active style of gameplay where you need to do sprint, normal attack, charge attack, skill burst, a lot of hand workout, then don't pull for her, because you need to do that though a lot though, compared to like Huta only charge attack. It's more simple though. And the third one, if you need sub DPS, don't pull for Ayaka, okay, because Ayaka don't have any sub DPS capability. Basically all of her is just pure on-field main DPS. And now we move to the last character, which is Shenhe. And the good things about her is that first, she's very good to support the cryo team. Basically, any cryo character like Chongyun, Ganyu, especially Ayaka, Roshan, whatever it is, she's very good to supporting them. So yeah, if you kind of need a good support, then yeah, that's one of the best thing that she can do. And the second, that she's very good with Ayaka and Ganyu main. If your Ayaka and Ganyu main like all dies until the end, then I really suggest for you to put Shenhe as your addition though. And now we talk the bad side about Shenhe is that first, she is a niche support, and being a niche support, the downside is that basically they are only good at the one side, and in this case that Shenhe is only good at the cryo. So let's say if you want to utilize on other part, she's basically almost useless. So let's say you want to kind of support in like Dendro, just basically Shenhe become useless though, and because of that she's not versatile or flexible though in terms of team building. And the second is that I only heard, because I don't have Shenhe yet, I lose my 50-50. I hope the next time Shenhe come I can get her though. So she had trouble with balancing the build, because I heard she need like a good amount of crit rate, energy recharge, and so on, something like that. So a little bit hard to balancing, so kind of demanding in terms of balancing of the stat. I heard something like that. And now we move to the reason why you should pull for Shenhe. Is that first, if you need the support to boost your cryo unit, then I 100% for you to go for Shenhe, because literally Shenhe gives you a lot of massive contribution, and that's why I want to pull for her for this rerun though. So I hope I can get luck and I get her though finally, because I really want to boost my Ganyu and Ayaka again. And second, if you Ayaka and Ganyu main, I really recommend you to pull for Shenhe. It is just because Shenhe really give a boost for your cryo, and I think it will give you more satisfaction as a Ayaka and Ganyu main. And I am also one of the Ganyu main, so because of that I want kind of make my Ganyu look better more, so I decide to pull for Shenhe. And at third, if you're a fan with the Frisch team, then Shenhe will be nice addition also for you to pull. And the reason for you to skip Shenhe is that first, if you need a versatile team or flexible support, then of course it's not Shenhe. If you need that flexible, of course Kazuha Nahida is the only way to go, but Shenhe cannot be the case like that. So if you need more versatile, don't pull for Shenhe. Second, if you are not cryo main or cryo fan, or like not really utilize any cryo element, just skip for Shenhe. Literally she can only boost at the most is cryo though. Although she has like capability on like normal charging attack buff, it's basically not that worth at all. So if you're not cryo main, just skip her entirely. So for the early constellation or weapon for Dehya, technically C1 is really very good for Dehya itself, and the buff is basically more than what the signature weapon gives to Dehya. So basically if you ask me, constellation or weapon, actually it's constellation, but because Dehya will come in the standard rare, I suggest to pull on the weapon first though. So maybe eventually we'll get the C1. For constellation or weapon for Cyno, it technically depends what you have though. If you already have like Primordial Jet Wings or Deathmatch R5, then I suggest for you to go for C2. But if you don't have those weapons, then just go for the weapon itself though, because the C1 is not so great also. So for the signature weapon or constellation for Ayaka, I still prefer for you to go for the signature weapon, because Mid Splitter is one of very good weapon. That it's not only good for Ayaka but for another sword user. So not only good for Ayaka itself but also for your account. So that's why I still prefer for signature weapon. So if I will rank a weapon first, and then second is C2, and C1 is literally the least useful one. So for Shenhe, should you go for early constellation or weapon? Technically, because Shenhe is support for cryo itself, I don't think she needs so much like investment or like you need to put a lot of effort though. But if you ask me, should you go for weapon or early constellation, I will just rate that the weapon is equal with C2 though. So if you kinda want to pull for weapon, then it's around the same value with the C2, because C2 also great, but the weapon also great. So for the verdict, we should pull addition in 3.5. My answer is for sure is Ayaka, just because Ayaka is very strong main DPS, very solid even until right now, and consider meta also. So in terms of value, she's the best. But if you kinda plan to pull both Ayaka and Shenhe to make as a complete team, I suggest to pull Shenhe first, just because I don't know when Shenhe banner will come, but for Ayaka, I'm pretty sure she will back quite soon, just because I think like Ayaka is pretty popular character, so she will back pretty soon compared to Shenhe though. So yeah, pretty much that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like the video, feel free to hit subscribe button and like, and that will be very helpful and I very appreciate, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.